Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and this is our final review for the final episode from Season 2 of Reacher, Episode 8. I won't go into too much spoilers, I'll try and avoid as much as I can. I won't really go into too much of the whole ending of the show because the actual main story gets wrapped up kind of quickly, and then it's really kind of just a half hour or something off just kind of wrapping everything up with the team. Everything else is already done. In terms of final, a little disappointing, to be honest with you. It starts off quite good, but then once you realise the actual main story with Robert Patrick's character and stuff is all wrapped up, you're kind of just wandering through the episode waiting for it to end, and it kind of does one of them multiple endings. And the one thing that is disappointing as well is I said it with the trailer when the trailer came out, was I think they showed us the last episode with them all sitting in the diner all bruised up and stuff. That is the case. That is in this episode. So I won't go into the kind of stuff after the story gets wrapped up. It's really kind of just saying goodbyes and kind of whatnot, and somewhat maybe setting up the next season for he's moving on again. But the whole story is, of course, we pick up right from where we left off with Reacher surrendering himself to Langston, while Neely is outside the perimeter getting ready to make her move. She's called in a favor, which is to that senator dude to send people in to help them out in this mission. Reacher and Langston start having a bit of a conversation back and forth, and Langston gets a phone call and he says to the guys, load him up on the chopper or whatever it is. And Langston goes off on the phone call, and the guy pulls out one of the beds that O'Donnell and Dixon are sitting on. And your man goes, hop on, and Reacher's like, no. And he comes walking over to him to kind of get in his face to try and put him in. And this is where it gets really good. Is Reacher, while handcuffed with his hands behind his back, kicks the shit out of all the dudes until Langston comes out with a gun and tells him to stop. So he comes out. The phone call he got was confirmation that Neely isn't dead. So he then has Reacher says to him, like, you can't shoot me because I'm the only one who knows where Neely is, and you hate loose ends. And he's like, yeah, you're right, I can't shoot you. And shoots O'Donnell in the leg. Kicks over a chair and tells him to sit down. So he sits down, and then we go to him getting the shit knocked out of him by Langston. He's just beating the pulp out of him, trying to get him to give up where Neely is, and he's just not giving up the information. He wants to know where Swan is. Langston starts giving them the information kind of on things, what exactly is happening. And he's like, everything was going great with our plan until your friend Swan started fucking everything up by poking his nose in it, and he wouldn't take the deal and stuff. So he said now all he does is sign off on the things, and if anyone comes looking, it just looks like he ran off with the money, that it was all him. And Reacher asks, like, where is he? And he goes, oh, you want to see him? Yeah, he's right here. And he goes over and he opens a drawer and pulls out a little jar with an eyeball in it and a finger in it. That's all that's left of Swan. And he's like, yeah, I don't need all of them, just his eye and, for the retinal scan and the fingerprints to sign off on things. So the distraction that the kids gave Reacher the idea of with the car and the music, a plane comes flying over. Neely's outside. She takes two of the security guards out with a sniper rifle, and a plane flies over, and you see three parachutes coming down. She's like, hey, the guy actually came through. The senator sent his three people, the people who got Reacher, the one who pulled up on the street that time. And she sets up the car, the music's playing, Langston's getting everything ready to leave. He loads Dixon and O'Donnell up onto the helicopter because they're going to fly off and dump them. He's pulling out all these hard drives. You hear the music starting to go off. Neely starts playing the music really loud. Langston hears it and he's like, oh, are them kids back again? Go take care of it. They all go out. They start seeing the other group, the 3 people, are setting up a breach of the compound. The security guard comes out, says, hey kids, I told you before, and Neely flips him off, her back turned, so he doesn't know. He opens the gate to go out to confront her. She shoots him. The team breach, cut the power, come in, start shooting up the place, take them all out. Langston goes running off to the helicopter. Reacher keeps running out of ammo with every gun he picks up. Neely comes, grabs him, covers him. He goes running outside. The helicopter is taken off and he jumps onto the wheel. And Neely and the other 3 come out and see him hanging off as the chopper flies away. And Langston's like, well, this is the end of yous too. Opens the back doors, the helicopter is about to dump them out. Goes ladies first, he's going to dump Dixon first. But all of a sudden Reacher climbs up into the chopper and they're like, oh. Reacher takes the dude out. Langston grabs a gun, but as he's about to shoot Reacher, O'Donnell tips over his stretcher thing, whatever it is, knocks him out of the way. Reacher has a fight with the dude, the henchman kind of bloke. Dixon almost falls out of the helicopter on the bed. Does kind of fall out, but Reacher grabs her while he's hanging there holding her. Langston starts kicking the hell out of him and then tells the other guy, finish him. And the guy gets on him, takes out O'Donnell's knuckle dusters, and he's like, well, you have the option. Or you either cave your head in with your friend's brass knuckles, or you let the bitch go and I'll put you out off your mercy quickly. And little does the guy know, him and Reacher had a bit of a fight and he stabbed Reacher in the arm. The knife is still in his arm, by the way. That Dixon undid her buckles. So Reacher headbutts him kind of. She comes up, grabs the knife out of Reacher's arm and sticks it into your man's neck, basically. Kills him, and then it's just down to Langston. Langston's like, uh-oh. Dixon goes up and holds a knife to the chopper pilot's throat and it's kind of like, yeah, keep her straight or we'll find out if I can fly these things. And of course, Langston gets dropped out of the chopper, thinking Reacher needs him for the information on the bombs, the 650 bombs. Reacher doesn't. The pilot knows where the meeting will be. And this is where we get the wrap up, really, for the whole story, and with the assassin guy. The assassin, so they go to where he's meant to meet. He arrives with that guy who stole the truck. He's like, oh good, Langston's here. Opens, knocks on the door opens, the dude gets shot in the head. The assassin's left there with Reacher standing there pointing a gun at him. He's like, you're not Langston. You know, yeah, no shit, come in. And they just want to know who is the buyer. It turns out the assassin guy, through the entire season, who's barely been in there, the one story that I said just was not getting developed, still doesn't. He's a seller. He's basically buying, he's the go-between person between whoever buys the rockets and who's selling them. And they're questioning him and he's just like, oh, it's better to be the seller than the buyer and all this type of crap. You still don't find out what his actual name is and stuff. He's like, oh, just get it over with, bring me to jail. They all are like, yeah, it's a guy like you, you're probably the top lawyers on speed dial. He's like, and he thinks they're cops, and Reacher shoots him in the stomach, and he kind of looks up and he's almost in disbelief, and then they all just pick up their guns and blow him away. And that's really where the whole story gets wrapped up. Again, it kind of, there's filler and there's a couple of other things that I'm not going to spoil, but that's basically the whole season. So it's an interesting season. Starts off a bit weird, you know. It's definitely still not as good as the first season, without a doubt. It's still a great show. Really enjoyed this season. The ending was a bit, you know, like the actual main story being wrapped up kind of as quickly as it was a bit weird. The fact that the assassin guy, like, nothing about him was filled in, really. Like, really nothing. And then to just kind of blow him away in the end, it was kind of like, okay, so this guy really served no purpose in the show. And then to watch like 25 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, of just this long drawn out kind of goodbye. Like, it's not a terrible long drawn out goodbye or anything like that. It's got some humorous moments in it and stuff like that, But it's just one of them where there's like 5 endings in that moment. You think, oh, this is where they wrap it up. No, keeps going. And you're like, oh, this must be where they wrap. No, keeps going. Okay, this is definitely where they're. Oh no, it's not. It's where they keep going. So for the end of season 2, as an episode in whole, it's not the strongest of episodes. They kind of, I don't know why the decision was made to wrap the main arc up so quickly and then just have, it's not really filler, but it kind of just drags a bit. It's strange. He was still a badass in it, and parts of it were a bit predictable. Overall, as a season, not as good as the first season. Really isn't. And I would hope, I'm assuming there's going to be a third season. I would hope that it would be a bit stronger than this. And of course, there's clearly not going to be the team in a third season because he's off on his lonesome again. So all in all, an interesting season. Strange turns here and there. Interesting twists here and there. Don't really understand the idea behind the assassin dude because, as I said, he really went nowhere, and in the end, to be still told nothing really about him was a really strange choice. So all in all, this season in total, I think I'd give probably about a 7 out of 10 for this season. So good, not great, but good, enjoyable, decent, something actually to watch that we can enjoy. But that's it for Reacher Season 2. God knows how long we're going to be waiting for Season 3. And with that, I will leave it there for this one. So cheers, I'll catch you in the next one.